officer, let me answer, if I can, the question about the check. That was through Saturday, so it did not include Sunday or today. That will come. But I know that it indicated it was, so that was certainly a reasonable question. So, all right. You may continue.
Mr. Howard. I'm not the best drawer, but I drew a little over. Appreciate it. I drew a little map of Sycamore Drive that maybe can help us out. I'd like for you to look at this, if the court, if I may.
Let Mr. Baldwin need to see it first.
Mr. Howard, the defendant Exhibit 13, will this resemble Sycamore Drive that you can, in a way that you can understand it?
It resembles.
Okay. Is it fair, accurate presentation of what you saw that day? Fair to say you did?
It's I would say not the scale here. Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to tell them into evidence exhibit, defendant Exhibit 13.
I think it's 14. Correct?
I thought he denied 13.
That's correct, but it would be 14.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just put it in the
Whether something goes in or not, it retains the same number.
Okay. I would like to move it, defendant Exhibit 14 to evidence, if I may, Judge.
I don't have any objection. It's not the scale, but for its worth, I don't have any objection, Judge.
It's submitted. Can I hit the MO, please, sir? I think
yes,
it's already on.
It should be.
Yeah, it's already on. But we got the little red little mark. The little, whatever that thing is. The little laser. Ms. Howard, you stated that you came down Sycamore Drive, right? This Sycamore Drive, this cascade on the river apartments right here.
That's correct.
And then we got River's Edge right here.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, you said you were coming down Sycamore Drive, correct, sir?
That's correct.
You said Matthew Hood was coming out of River's Edge right here, right, sir?
That's what I said, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is this Matthew Hood coming out of River's Edge, sir. Is it correct?
That's correct.
So Matthew Hood come out of River Edge and went over here to this apartment in Cascade River and pulled over right here. Is that right, sir?
That's what I said, yes.
Okay, now, I would like to give you this little laser, and I'd like you to demonstrate how you got in behind Matthew when you came across.
Well, according to your diagram, as you can see, River's Edge right here and Regency Park right here. Because I got both of these driveways, both of these apartment complexes mistaken, but it was coming out of the driveway. Okay?
Okay.
So I did say yes, River's Edge, but according to the picture that you showed me earlier, it had to be Regency Park.
Let me ask you to back off that microphone
Okay.
just a little bit.
Okay,
Try that.
okay.
And I can do the volume from here. That's fine. Let's see how that works. It's
Okay.
being distorted, that's why I'm doing that.
Okay.
I think what this, how to make these on.
You're still too close. You can move the microphone or move your head. I
Okay.
can tell it's.
Okay.
All right, and then talk from there, and I can turn up the microphone. if
Yes, sir.
it's distorted.
Yes, sir.
To make it a little easier on you, why don't you tell us from that diagram there what you saw? Just scratch my question, show us what you saw in your version. Let us hear your version, and you can explain it off this little map like off.
Well, it's just like what I said. From your diagram and from the picture that you showed me earlier, you all was not coming from River's Edge. You come from Regency Park, out of this driveway. I did say you was coming out of River's Edge,
Okay.
but apparently it was coming this driveway right here. And I guess when y'all turned left onto Sycamore, that's when I turned right here
So
into Cascade.
show us how you got to Cascade from Sycamore. Show us how do you get from Sycamore Drive to Cascade Apartment. Show us that.
Go down Sycamore Drive and turn right here. That's how you go into Cascade.
Okay, that's how you got to Cascade.
That's the only way you can get into Cascade.
Okay, well, show us how you reverse your car and got to Cascade then. You said you reverse, show us how you done that.
You go down right here and turn around. You turn right in the middle of the road
Why you turn around in the middle of the road?
to get in behind Matthew.
So you tell that Matthew Hood did not come from River's Edge condominium. That's what you tell her. He did not come from there. Is that what you tell
From
her?
the way your drawing is, from the way the drawing is,
Okay.
he had to come from Regency Park. But I said originally River's Edge. But the way the diagram, he came from here and went here. But I did pass Matthew in the red SUV.
So is it fair to say you done changed your statement from earlier from River Edge to Regency Park?
I'm not saying you change the statement. I'm just saying that's from your drawing. That's how it is.
Okay. Well, can I please hear the ladies, please, sir? Now, Mr. Hyde, isn't it true that Matthew Hood was coming through River Edge condominium and he stopped right here? Matthew stopped right here. Matthew stopped. Now, isn't it true that you were coming out of Cascade this way? You was face to face with Matthew. You were face to face with him. See that? You see my little mark here right now? Isn't it true that when you first saw Matthew Hood, you was right here, coming out the exit of this Cascade apartment right here, and Matthew Hood was right here at River's Edge, like you stated earlier, and Matthew Hood was going across this road just like this to get to Sycamore, and then when you were coming out, you said, when you were telling Matthew to stop. You see that? Matthew came right here from River Edge, right into Cascade, just like that. And you turn around, that's how you reverse your car, because you turn around like this, and you pull it in there. Isn't that correct?
No, I don't recall me going to Cascade. Isfield Jerry Johnson was in Cascade.
So are you telling us right now, you was not face to face with Matthew Hood? Just say you, can I just demonstrate right here, please? Okay. Just say you, where you at? You, and I'm us. Okay.
I didn't mean to
Okay,
imply
okay,
you
okay.
there.
Okay, just say you where you at, and we in the red SUV. And we coming across, you in Cascade, and we coming across in the red SUV, right face to face with you.
Understood?
Okay.
Please.
Look, and you coming towards us just like that, when we facing each other just like
I
that.
was not in Cascade.
So you telling us right now, you went face to face with us,
I
and
don't
we
recall,
coming out of
no.
River Edge, and you coming out of Cascade, that's what you telling us.
No, sir, I was not in Cascade. No, sir. No, sir.
So, Mr. Howard, you telling that you just stated Matthew come out of Regional Park. That's what you just stated. Matthew come out of Regional Park, and then he went into Cascade. That's what you just testified to.
That's the way it had to be.
That we had to be. Now,
From my remembrance, from what I remember, that's how it had to be.
okay.
If it
Now-
wasn't River's Edge, it was Regency Park. Those two driveways are side by side.
Okay. Now, Mr. Howard, you testified unequivocally and clearly to the jury that Matthew Hood was coming across River's Edge because That we were coming out of River Edge, isn't that right? That's why you told the jury that, right?
Yes, it's at first, yes, River's Edge, yes.
Yeah, you see that? Well,
Yes.
why you just change your testimony to reading the law?
I just said, those two driveways are side by side. And the way you have that map is drawn, from the way you saying, like he came right across the street. From what I remember, I was coming down Sycamore Drive.
So come
You
back.
all was coming out where Matthew Hood was coming out of the driveway, turning left onto Sycamore. And that's when I saw him. And that's when I turned in around behind him.
Okay.
That's what I remember.
So, will you agree, if you're coming down Sycamore Drive, you turn in the Cascade Apartment, you can do that without reverse? You see that, just say this you, look at this. This you coming down.
Right?
Matthew going in the Cascade, and this you, isn't it true you can just pull in and you park that car right there where you at without reverse?
It could have, but I don't think that would happen. I could have missed the turn just by a little bit and had to put it in reverse.
So,
But either way, the way the picture was showed earlier, yes, I was in Cascade, on where you had the picture earlier.
you would agree, sorry, let's look at State Exhibit. State Exhibit 149. I'm gonna give you one better than that. I'm sorry, State Exhibit 151. Is that your police car right there in this picture?
Yes, it is.
Will you agree that your police car parked in Cascade Apartment?
Yes, I agree with that.
Right behind Matthew Hood SUV, will you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Yes, that's the way the picture is.
Now, Mr. Howard. Problem, Mr. Woodley.
Well, just a moment, I'm not sure what you're doing. Are you writing on your exhibit?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Well,
I didn't know, but if I can't,
unless,
if I can't, I'll just disregard. Just disregard, Mr. Howard. I'm sorry. Now, Mr. Howard, you would agree that your police car is parked in Cascade Apartment behind the red SUV Matthew Hayes?
That's from what the picture show, yes.
Okay, and you testified, you come out Sycamore Drive, and you turn like this into the Cascade Apartment, correct?
Yes, from the picture show, yes.
Okay, now when you agree with me, you coming out Sycamore Drive like this here, and you can just turn right into Cascade without doing reverse like I just did. You don't have to reverse, do you?
I have reversed my vehicle.
I said, you don't have to, would you have to?
You don't if you're going to initially just turn in there.
Yeah, you
But
can
like I,
initially turn in there, right? Look at this, watch this, look at this.
No, he's trying to, exactly trying to answer the question, I think. He's giving an
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Howard.
but like I said earlier, I missed the driveway and had to put it in reverse to get in there. Okay?
So, you telling us you missed the driveway.
Just by a little bit.
And then you turned in there, that was your judgment.
That's what I said.
So, up on the oath today, you telling the jury you weren't right here when you first seen Matthew Hood raise you weren't right here. Is that what you tell the jury right here today?
From what I said, I was coming down Sycamore Drive, and you all was either coming out of River's Edge or Regency Apartment, because the driveways are side by side. Okay? And when I seen you all, that's when I turned around. Well, turned into Cascade, according to that picture.
Okay. Now, did you see anybody car sitting right here in Sycamore Drive? Did you see like a civilian car just sitting right there in Sycamore Drive looking at you? A white male just sitting right there on Sycamore Drive? Did you see a white male, when you come out of here and you turn around like this and did that, did you see a white male sitting right there looking at you in the car?
No, I don't recall.
You don't recall?
I don't recall a white
You
car.
don't recall coming out of Cascade Apartment right there either?
No.
Did Matthew Hood come out of River Edge or Regional Park? Could you be specific where he come from?
It's one of those driveways. River's Edge or Regency Park.
But you did testify that he came out of River Edge earlier.
That's what I said.
Okay. Now, Ms. Howard, could you show us what the label Mr. Jerry Johnson wore?
Last time I spoke to SL Jerry Johnson, He was going into Cascade this way.
When did you first speak to him, man? How was your car positioned when you first
We
spoke to
was
him?
right here in the roadway. We
Y'all
either
right there?
right here or right in here somewhere.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
And what way your car facing?
I'm facing that way.
Okay, his car was facing that way.
Yeah.
Now again, Mr. House, you want to lie to this here, but
Your Honor, respectfully, that's not a proper question.
Objection sustained.
you can cut the light back on, that, done enough, that we can proceed. Now, Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard. You said you talked to Mr. SBO Jerry Johnson, you talked to him on Sycamore Drive.
Yes.
What y'all talk about?
I told him to turn right, to go into Cascade, and look for the brown Cadillac.
Y'all
Look for the Cadillac.
At that point in time, did you see any other car other than the police car on Sycamore Drive?
Did I see any other?
Yes, sir. Did you see any other car other than the SBO Johnson car on Sycamore Drive when you told him go look for a Cadillac?
Not specifically, I think it was some cars in the parking lot of the apartment complex when you look over to your left. But I don't recall seeing any cars on Sycamore Drive Park. No, I don't recall.
So you didn't see a white male in a car right up Sycamore Drive, right in front of Cascade Apartment. You didn't see no white male. What you telling that you?
I don't recall, no.
Okay. Did you see any people standing on Sycamore Drive?
I don't think so.
Right before you got ready to go, you said you seen Matthew Hood coming from an apartment on Sycamore Drive, behind Howard Johnson, is that correct?
Yes,
Matthew Hood was driving a gray SUV, correct?
correct.
Could you explain what direction your patrol car position in when you seen Matthew Hood?
Your Honor,
Ask and answer.
Sustained.
Did you see anybody on the passenger side of Matthew Hood red SUV?
I don't recall seeing anybody over there.
Do you recall telling Rebecca Shaw that you seen a passenger look like Jamie Hood when you seen Matthew Hood?
I don't recall, no, I don't recall that.
Okay. Isn't it true that Matthew Hood crossed the road to enter Cascade Apartment?
Like I said,
respectfully, if those matters are covered,
Okay.
time before lunch,
Continue.
probably covered a little bit afterwards.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Now, you stated earlier, when you first testified, that when you saw Matthew, you can't remember if you yelled at him to stop. Do you remember what you told Matthew Hood when you first saw him?
no,
You don't. Do you recall yelling at Matthew Hood, "Stop Hood! Stop Hood!" Do you recall that?
I don't recall that. I could have yelled at him. I don't know how I did it.
Why you don't know how? It's something this serious. How can you not know what you know?
I don't remember.
Would it be a proper procedure to be yelling? Is it proper procedure to yell? That's why I asked you about that. The class, like talking to people. The class teach you not to
Your
yell.
Honor,
Just ask the
Okay.
question, please.
Why was you yelling in an irate manner when you told us to stop?
Your Honor, he didn't. He did. He was yelling.
Oh, it ain't what he
I think
indicated.
that was
It's
the,
a question. He can't answer for him.
Excuse me, he's objecting.
Okay, you're right.
Jack, I think he answered the question, but he didn't recall how he got him to stop. I think the defendant himself trying to imply this is how it was done. He didn't recall doing that, so I don't think he asked a question that implies that that was his answer before, which was not his answer before.
You understand the objection?
I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna go with what you say.
I'm gonna sustain the objection.
Okay. Is it proper protocol to yell at people when you tell them to stop?
Well, I guess he's trying to get their attention. And I was in a vehicle.
Do they teach you in police academy to yell at people?
That wasn't the situation. I was trying to get someone to stop.
I thought
Trying to do a police citizen encounter. Trying to talk to them and get information about who he was it, that's all.
I thought you said you didn't remember what you told.
You know, that's all. I don't know if it was a Yale or on the PA system. I don't know how I got him to stop.
That's how I think you misunderstood my question. I asked you, do they teach you in police academy or any way in the Anthony Clark County Police to yell at people?
Not to yell at people, no.
When you told Matthew Hood to stop, what did you put your car reverse at? I don't think I asked this
What's the
one.
objection?
Objections, I thought he covered this, and he did not, that's fine, but I thought that was covered with many different questions that he asked before. Leave regard to discussion.
All of the objection.
Thank you, sir.
It was somewhere right now on Sycamore Drive.
So you don't know when you told Matthew Hood to stop, Hood, stop when you was yelling, stop, Hood, stop the car, Hood, when you was yelling in an irate manner. What did you put that, what time did you put that car in reverse?
Well, actually, that's a misleading question. Because basically, he already indicated he didn't recall how he got him to stop. And his question implies that, he did in order to do that.
Objection sustained.
Okay. Did you turn on your your blue lights and your siren to let Matthew Hood know that you were stopping him?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because it wasn't a traffic stop. It wasn't that kind of stop. And I had already, which I thought I had some kind of relationship with him that I could talk to him.
Is it true that you were pulling Matthew Hood over because you were trying to investigate this carjacking going on with your brother Jamie Hood?
I was trying to get information on your whereabouts.
Okay, but you were getting information pertaining to this carjacking suspect, Jamie Hood, Matthew Hood brother. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So they would be dealing with a high-risk suspect. That's why you pulling them over to talk about this high-risk carjacking suspect. Is that fair to say that?
Well, yeah, but I didn't see you in the vehicle.
Okay. But you still pulling Matthew Hood over to inquire about this carjacking suspect?
That, yes.
Okay. So, isn't it safe to say that you were pulling him over, dealing with a high-risk traffic stop because that's what you were investigating?
I wouldn't say it was a high-risk traffic stop. I asked him to stop, and he stopped. And that's all it was.
Okay. Have you ever made any stops on people before? Traffic stops, ticket stops, anything?
Traffic stop.
You did. Did you put your blue lights on when you were writing the ticket? Just say you found somebody speeding, then you cut them blue lights on and let them know you want to stop.
If I was doing a traffic stop or a stop sign, I would turn my blue lights on, yes.
So you would turn your blue lights on with somebody running a red light or a traffic stop or a stop sign, but you didn't put them blue lights on when you looking for a carjacking suspect. That's what you telling the jury.
I was trying to get information from Matthew about your whereabouts.
Okay.
It wasn't a traffic stop. It wasn't a high-risk traffic stop. It was more like a police citizen encounter, seeking to get some information.
Okay. Why did you cut your blue lights on when you catch people running the stop sign, but you didn't cut this blue lights on when you were investigating this carjacking suspect, Jamie Hood?
One was a traffic violation. I would cut my blue lights on if someone was on a traffic violation.
Did you turn your patrol car audio or video camera on when you told Matthew Hood to stop?
No.
Why not? Never asked you.
I thought he just asked you about the blue lights and siren and why he didn't do that. And if I'm not mistaken.
Different question, I'll allow.
Thank you, sir. Again, Ms. Howard, did you turn on your audio and video camera when you stopped Matthew Hood to ask him about this carjacking suspect, Jamie Hood?
No.
Could you tell the jury why you didn't do that?
Well, again, more police citizen encounter. I feel like I had a rapport with him. I did not see Jamie Hood in the vehicle. I didn't think it was a need at that time to do that. It's more like one of those things if I'm out in the community talking to people, I don't just get my video recording and recording the people or anything like that. It's one of those type things.
Okay, but you would agree that you would put a Matthew over to talk about this old carjack suspect, Jamie Hood, y'all looking for him. You agree with that?
Yes.
You don't think it's important, I'm sorry, did you radio communication, did you radio dispatch and let them know that you were pulling Matthew Hood over to inquire about this suspect, this carjacking suspect, Jamie Hood? Did you do that?
Well, at the time, I had a phone call. All that happened so quick from Sergeant Epps on the phone. And I told him I had to go. And when I got him behind Matthew, my intention was to go ahead and get on the radio, but I didn't have time because that's when you had jumped out of the vehicle and I saw you. So that's when I'm trying to put his phone down all at the same time and do this and get my seatbelt. At that time, you was right here at my car door. And that's when I reached outside my window with both my hands and I grabbed him and you broke free.
All right, Ms. Howard. So when Matthew, before I go any further, Ms. Howard, did you call for backup? Did you back up? Hey, I got this carjacking suspect, Matthew Hood, brother. Did you call for backup?
No.
And let any of, can I finish, please? Did you call for backup and let any other unit know that you were pulling Matthew Hood over to inquire about this carjacking suspect, Jamie Hood? Did you call for backup and let your fellow unit know?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because I saw SPO Jerry Johnson come around the corner.
Are you a trained police officer? You a senior police officer, is that correct?
Yes.
So you train other police officers, new officers, you train the new one when they come on, do you do any training?
Not now.
Have you ever trained any officer when they come out of police academy, you take them under your wing and you show them how to ropes? Have you ever done that?
Yes.
So you know what's going on, you know the procedure good enough to teach other officers how to do the job the correct way, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, now could you please tell the jury their protocol dealing with a high risk, Ashland Clark County Police Department protocol concerning a high risk traffic stop?
On a high-risk traffic stop, you call out the dispatch, tell them what you got, but you wait till backup comes, and then both of you all will make the stop on the vehicle.
Is there any more?
No, this was not a high-risk traffic stop.
Okay. Ms. Howard, if you make it a high-risk traffic stop, isn't it true that you position your engine block between the suspect vehicle and the officer so you can use your vehicle for cover?
Yes, you do use your vehicle for cover, yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. Howard. But that was the protocol says, right? When you stopped Matthew Hood, did you position your engine block between his vehicle and your car, and you personally?
It was not a high-risk traffic stop.
Okay, just on any stop, just say any stop. What's the protocol? Just say if even a speeding ticket. What's the procedure and protocol how you position your vehicle?
When it was in the roadway, you would have your vehicle sent off just a little bit to the left while you see the driver's side door. If you can do it. Sometimes you can't do
Just say if you make a speeding ticket stop, you don't know if them person gonna jump out and shoot you or not, do you?
it. No, you do not know.
Is, when you agree that why they come up with protocol, whether it's a high-risk traffic stop or a speeding ticket to ensure your safety, that's why they tell you to put the engine block there?
That's correct.
So it don't matter if it's a speeding ticket or a high-risk traffic stop, you still supposed to put your engine block in between for your safety, is that right, sir?
That is correct, but again, this is not a high-risk traffic stop. It's just a casual stop for me making contact with Matthew Hood about your whereabouts. That's all it was.
Okay, sir. But you agree you didn't park with your vehicle according to the procedure protocol? Would you agree with that?
I didn't have time to do anything.
Okay. But you didn't do it though, did you?
No.
Okay, thank you. Now, you stated when you stopped us, you said I jumped out the SUV and I ran between the SUV and your car. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ms. Howard, when I first jumped out the SUV, did you see a gun in my hand?
No, sir, I didn't.
Didn't even have no gun in my hand there.
I didn't recall seeing a gun. You could have had one, but I didn't see a gun.
Okay. Now, Mr. Howard, you stated that you come through, you caught one and grabbed me. Why did you dive through your car when and grab me, Mr. Howard?
No, that's a misleading question, but that's not what he said.
Okay, I just go back. I think you're right. Ms. Howard, Ms. Howard, you stated that you come through your window, you said you put both of your hands on it. Is that correct?
I reached both my hands outside my car door window,
Yes, right.
and I grabbed you
Okay,
because you was running.
okay. I'm glad, I appreciate that. Now, Ms. Howard, how could you be sitting in your car with your door closed and grab me from the inside of your car? How do you do that?
I'm sitting like this, okay? You coming up to my door, running. I had enough room to grab you just like this. But I lost my grip, and you kept going.
Now, Ms. Howard, is the truth that you died through that car window? Look at me, please, sir. Is the truth? I'm you inside the packing car. This is me running by. Is the truth that you died through that window and grabbed onto me?
You mean dive like,
Yeah, you come out the window on me like this here.
I couldn't do that.
Well,
I had a seatbelt on.
okay, well, how did you grab me if you got the seatbelt on like this? You just told the jury you didn't grab me. How in the world did you grab me with both hands? And
Easy.
you got your seatbelt on, you can't get your arm
Let
right.
it finish, you get to answer the question.
I believe he just demonstrated how he did that. And that was already asked. When you asked him how did he do it, I think he just demonstrated and answered that particular question, if I'm not mistaken.
Objection sustained.
Ms. Howard.
Did you hear the objection?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ms. Howard, when you went to school to be a police officer, did any of your instructor ever tell you to come through the one and grab somebody?
No, they didn't tell me that, no.
Have you ever known any police in the history of the world to come through the one and grab somebody?
Well, we police officers, we have to stop the suspect from fleeing.
I do understand you, sir. I think you misunderstood my question. Do you know any police in history? North,
that's
South?
not a proper question. Is that any police officer in history of the whole world?
Okay, okay. What, when you went to school to be when they trained you, do the Athens Clarke County Police Department teach any of their officers that come through a car when they grab a suspect?
No,
So you the first one? Do You the first Adams Clark County Police Department that you admitted he understand to come through the one to grab somebody in the history of Adams Clark County?
That's argumentative, and of course, the only way for him to know that would be through hearsay.
Do you know any other police officer in the Clark County Police Department ever come through a car one to grab a suspect? Anybody?
I don't know of anybody.
So you would agree, you the first one that you know to come through a one to grab a suspect?
Well, I can't say what other people do, all right? I know what I would do. And I guess if the situation will come again, I'll probably do the same thing, grab you.
Some that track might have too, when
Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm gonna ask you to go to the jury room, please. Cannot make that kind of comment to a witness, any witness. I know this is highly charged, I know this is emotional, but it's, you just cannot say that sort of thing. Any question about that?
you the judge.
So you're just gonna have to ask questions and not comment on the answers.
Yes, sir.
Ask another question.
Yes, sir.
Let's see if they're ready to come back in.
There's a line in there.
You just have to find the picture where you have to sit through. They might be able to.
Bring them back in.
You may ask another question.
Yeah, I can recall this witness late time.
In your case, if he's subpoenaed,
I can't say if I got a subpoena.
I don't know who was subpoenaed, who, I don't know about
Now, this witness, I mean, well, can I see if he on my witness list?
While you're looking, I don't want to imply that that's the only way. I mean, there may be other ways.
That's why I asked you.
I can't advise you on that.
All right, let me just see. Look, the reason why I say this,
I don't need to hear the rest.
okay,
That just wouldn't be proper. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah, I understand. I mean, one second.
Right.
Well, just that thing, I need to be real brief, Mr. Howard. Real brief.
What you need to do.
Ms. Howard. When you saw me get out that car and you recognized it was me, why didn't you get on the radio and tell them that you got the suspect, Jacob Hood, and you got to be on it?
Again, I already saw Inspector Jerry Johnson coming down. Okay. And at the same time, he was running toward me. So I'm trying to hit my seatbelt and talk on the radio. At that time, you were already at my car door. You was running.
Okay, once you recognized Jamie Hood, why didn't you call Central Communication and say, I got this carjacking suspect, Jamie Hood, in my sight and requesting backup? Why didn't you do that?
I saw Jerry Johnson. He was real close. He was maybe 50 yards, 75 yards away. He was already coming toward me. He was seeing the things that was going on. And at that time, that's when he was already just at my car door. He was moving that quick. And I'm trying to hit the seatbelt and talk on the radio. That wasn't working. So the only thing I did was just grab you.
instead of grabbing me, you could have grabbed your radio and said, I got this carjacked suspect Jamin Hood in my vision.
Your Honor,
If,
I think he just answered the question about what he did and how he was not, even though he tried to do that, he was not able to. That has been asked and answered several times.
I'm going to overrule the objection, allow me to answer the question.
Thank you, sir. Again, Ms. Howard, instead of grabbing me, why didn't you just grab your radio and tell Central Communications Rest Center officer, I got this carjacked suspect, Jamin Hood, just ran past my car. Why you didn't do it, man?
because she was right there at my door window. We have, police, we have to react. You was right there.
Okay, now you indicated that you knew they were looking for Jamin Hood for a carjacking suspect, right? Right, you knew they were looking for me. You told the jury, you pulled me up on the computer, and you knew they were looking for this Jamin Hood. My face was on your computer, correct?
Yes.
Okay, when you recognized me, you had the carjacked suspect in your visual, Mr. Howard. You spoke to call in and told him.
Is that a question?
I asked it wrong. Ms. Howard. You stated that I pulled away from you when you grabbed me. Why did you tell me I shoot when I pulled away from you, Mr. Howard? Sorry.
I didn't understand the question. The question is kind of misleading.
Mr. Howard, you stated that I pulled away from you, correct?
Correct.
When I pulled away from you, why did you tell me I shoot? Why did you do that?
I did.
Why you lying, Tony?
Your Honor, he's done that a number of times. and heard it.
Objection sustained.
What shoulder you got in? What shoulder did you get shot in? Your right shoulder or your left shoulder?
I got shot in my back.
Do you have any pictures or x-ray to prove that to the jury?
I don't have any pictures.
So you have no picture, or no, you went to the hospital, is that correct?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me the prosecutor, you, or nobody, the Abbott County Police got no pictures of you, or no x-rays of you, and you've been shot? That's what you telling this jury.
The question was, does he have any?
But do you know of any? Do you know of any pictures or x-rays of you being shot that you can prove to where you were shot at?
I'm pretty sure the hospital has some kind of records or documentation of it.
The Aston Clark County Police Department or the prosecutor office didn't provide you with no picture, let you see him yourself, sir?
I don't have them.
Have you ever saw him?
No, I haven't seen them.
Ms. Howard, do you recall talking to your wife, Shalisa Howard, at the hospital, when you went to the hospital?
Yes.
I'm sorry, let me,
Okay.
this just turned on by itself, let me turn it off.
Might be a good idea.
You may continue, it's not necessarily turned off, I don't know where that's coming from, so.
You talked to your wife, Shalisa, at the hospital. Did you call that?
Yes.
Do you recall telling your wife, Shalisa, that you were sorry that this happened?
That's what she said. I said.
So she said that you told her in the hospital, you sorry this happened, and you,
Certainly would be hearsay, Judge, in the context of that. I would object.
you already answered the question, you said, yeah.
I'm going to sustain the objection and let the jury disregard the answer.
I got one final question for you, Mr. Howard. I'm gonna let you go, sir. Mr. Howard. Do you think that if you had to grab that radio and call to let the other units know that you saw me, instead of grabbing me and telling me that you were going to shoot? Let me finish my question.
The objection, the objection.
I would object. First of all, it's been asked and answered. Part of this question implies a statement that he's already been asked to be denied making, and therefore this is a misleading question.
You don't know. I'm sorry, I gotta let you finish.
That's right. I'm going to sustain the objection to the extent that the question poses facts that are not in evidence.
Okay. Back to the 9/11.
Just ask them, I'll let you ask another question, but.
Okay. Ms. Howard. Do you think that you played a role in Chris Luna's life?
Can you repeat that?
I said, do you think you played a role in Officer Chris Luna's life? Do you think that?
No.
That's not a proper question.
Calm down.
No further question.
Redirect.
Yes, Your Honor. I retrieve states number 10 and defendants 14.
Where are you gonna play that? That element.
I've got it here. Thank you. Officer Howard, as far as your testimony here today, back, are you remembering as best you can the events that happened on March 22nd, up to the point that you were shot?
Yes, sir, the best I can.
And after you were shot, let me back up, rephrase. You recall feeling something where you pointed on the left side of your face, is that correct?
More right here,
Yes.
up high.
And that felt like somebody hit you? You felt like you were hit at that point?
Yeah, with a fist, maybe.
What is the next thing you remember after that?
What I remember, I heard a shot after that. And I remember getting out of the vehicle and I fell on the ground. And that's when SPO Jerry Johnson, I heard him come up.
Did you hear him make statements to you at all?
I heard him yelling that I don't remember.
And where were you when you actually recall the next thing you remember?
In the hospital.
During the CAT scan?
Yes, sir.
Prior to you being shot in the car, or those events, are you recalling those as best you can today?
Yes, sir, I am.
And in the hospital, do you recall Agent Rebecca Shaw or anybody else coming in there taking a statement from you at all while you were in the hospital?
I remember someone coming and talking to me, but I don't remember who it was. And it could have been her, I don't remember.
And if that was recorded, there'll be a recording of that, correct?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Now, the defense showed you a handwritten diagram. Let me show you states number 10. Before I do that, let me ask you. Do you recall when you saw Matthew Hood in the red SUV, he coming out of some sort of driveway on the right?
That's correct.
And from your memory and what you recall, what apartment complex did you first remember that was coming from?
River's Edge.
Was that a driveway that you believe was across from or almost directly across from that second entrance to Cascades?
Yes, sir.
And let me show you states number 10. And do you see this second entrance of Cascades that you've identified previously?
It's right there.
Okay. And the driveway that you recall, as best you can, that Matthew Hood came out of was from what apartment? Can you show the jury at all?
From what I said initially, River's Edge apartment.
Okay. And as we go back here, you see these apartments further down the road?
I do.
What apartments are those?
Those are Regency Park.
And right here, what apartments are those?
I think these are Timber.
Timber Chase?
Yeah, that's Timber.
And you see this entrance exit to Regency Park
I do.
right there?
I do.
Is it close to the second entrance to Cascades?
It is. It's right there.
But is it directly across from
It's not
Cascades?
directly across from Cascade, no.
In this diagram the defendant drew is defense exhibit number, I'll put it the way he had it, number 14. This second entrance to Cascades in that diagram, does it appear to be further down from the entrance exit to River's Edge than what it actually is according to the actual scaled aerial?
You saying it's Cascade down a little further?
No. Compared to this one right here. That being River's Edge and this being Cascades. Do those appear to be almost directly across from each other?
From
Exit of River's Edge,
right here on this drawing, yes.
is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
From that drawing, from right there, it looks like it's directly across, if that's the driveway.
And that's an aerial photograph.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have to hand.
Any other questions?
Reluctantly. Let me see how we can fix all this here.
No.
Yeah, I got questions. I was just asking you. I would like to introduce State's exhibit, where they 170 video, because this drawing even this lead not put up there.
Don't explain me.
Okay, I like to see this exhibit 170 this video. It's live, and we can see it just what it is.
You're asking for view 170.
Yes, sir. Is that they had with the Officer Hall video?
That's the short version.
The short version. We don't have to look at it all.
Are you prepared? Are you?
I'm prepared to put it in line, yes, sir.
All right.
We cut it off. Now, Miss Allen. Okay, Miss Allen, will you agree this car coming down Sycamore Drive, sir?
Yes.
Sycamore Drive, right? It's March 22nd, 2011. Now, when you agree this right here, River's Edge apartment, you see right here with this white arrow there?
Yes.
Okay, this River's Edge apartment then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the driveway that leads right here. Now watch the camera, I'm gonna let it roll. Now you see that's the driveway.
Right.
Now when you agree that that's your car right there,
That's right.
okay? When you agree that this River's Edge and this Cascade apartment right across each other. Will you agree with that?
I do agree.
Okay. Now, you said Matthew Hood came out this, what you call that, Regis Park down there. Now, I'm going to show you Regis Park driveway.
Now, I would respectfully object and said according to the diagram that the defendant did in 714 and the way it was drawn with the entrance to Regency Park that close, he knew he was getting something right across from that. So that implication is a misleading question.
I don't understand. I don't understand the objection.
He wanted, saying, well, you said it was out of Regency Park. What he said was, well, if that's a correct drawing where Regency Park is right here, then it could very well be Regency Park.
Let me explain my time.
Don't explain.
Okay.
Just ask the question.
Okay, I appreciate it. Ms. Howard, did you see Officer Chris sitting right there in that spot when he was on Sycamore Drive?
No, I didn't see him at the time.
You didn't see him sitting right there?
No, I did not.
Now, this is the entrance right here on Sycamore Drive. I mean, this Regis Park. When you agree they ain't there right beside River Edge, that's pretty good way to park it.
Not pretty good ways apart, but it's apart.
Okay, did you see Matthew come out that? Did you see Matthew come out of that entrance right there? Or did you see him come out that River Edge when we just showed?
From what I saw, he was coming out one of those driveways. That's exactly what I said.
Which one? Was it River Edge or Regis Park?
Don't know. He was coming out of one of them.
You seem to know that you reversed the car, but you don't know where he come from.
He was coming out either River's Edge or Regency Park.
When you agree that Regis Park exit is farther down the road than Regis,
Well, I saw a vehicle come out. I saw that SUV come out of the driveway.
okay. Will you agree that the River Edge will you agree that this River Edge exit is closer to Cascade apartment than that Regis Park?
Yes.
Down the road, that's, as a matter of fact, that's what, about 20, what you got, 20, 30 yards down the road? Let's say that, sir?
Yes, give or take, yes.
Okay, now you see Matthew come out, you see him come out, or exit that was close to the Cascade apartment right here, your car park there, right there, in that right circle.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, for the jury, you would agree that this Regency is farther down the road than the one we see right here in the right front.
That's
River
correct.
Edge. So, is it true that Matthew come out this parking lot right here, and he was coming straight across the road to Cascade? It was just like that, wasn't it?
No, I don't remember I don't remember that. He could have, but I don't remember that part, no.
You
I mean, I
know?
don't remember coming straight across.
So, what you saying, Matthew would come way down that road with a pad out of Regis and come up through him, and then turn down, what you just did?
From what I remember, he turned left on the Sycamore. And I got right in behind him.
Okay.
That's what I remember.
If Matthew turned left, he would have had to come this way, Mr. Howard.
That's right. He could have, what he could have did, turned left and then whipped into Cascade.
Well, how do you do that? He would have had to crash into the fence there. doesn't
No,
he?
not necessarily.
No further question, Judge. I'm not through.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Not be able to answer the completed response before he was cut off. I think he was still trying to respond.
Okay, he's saying, but I'm through, though.
No, I'm finished.
Thank you. All right. Nothing further, Judge.
You may go down. Hit the lights, please. Call your next witness.
Gary Johnson.
know how many of you got a restroom break, but if it's a raise your hand during this, you need to.
Council Howard, excuse me,
You Judge?
Judge, I would like to just hold them because I might be able to call them back and recall some, all the quote you say.
Well, we may need to deal with that outside the presence of the jury later on today.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Would you raise your right hand, please, sir? You solemnly swear the testimony about the witness report in this matter of State versus Jamie Donnell Hood will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God.
I do.
Have a seat, please, sir. Would you state your name for the jury, please?
Jerry Johnson.
And are you employed, sir?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed?
The Athens Clarke County Police Department.
And how long have you been with the Athens Clarke County Police Department?
The end of July will be 8 years.
And what is your current assignment and responsibilities with the Athens Clarke County Police Department?
Right now, I'm currently assigned to the Department's Crime Prevention Unit, where we patrol, I patrol the weed seed areas, old weed seed areas, as well as go out in the community, educate people how to take care of themselves, take care of their properties, set up neighborhood watches, things of that nature.
And are you a certified law enforcement officer in this state and with the department?
I am, sir.
And sir, how long have you been in the crime prevention unit, I guess, altogether?
Altogether with weed and seed about since January 2010.
And weed and seed is now turned over and became something called crime prevention unit, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your responsibility in that unit is what? What do you do generally?
I patrol on the east and west sides of the county, predominantly around housing, Nellie B area on the east side, Bonnet Lane, for example, on the west side, Broad Acres, Rock Springs, around those areas.
And prior to going into the weed and seed area in January 2010, what did you do with the department?
I was assigned to uniform patrol, evening watch, west side, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Your hours in this crime prevention unit and the precursor to weed and seed, what are your general shift hours?
Generally, my shift is now 8 a.m., 4 p.m. When I first was assigned over there, it was 1 p.m. to 9.
And the folks who were in that unit, did they sometimes had staggered shifts at all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Officer Howard was there, and he was from 8 to 4, and I came along around, again, 1 o'clock to 9 p.m.
And prior to working with the Athens Clarke County Police Department, what did you do, sir?
I was about maybe a year and a half or so. I was a service advisor at the Acura Volvo dealership here in Athens on the Atlanta Highway.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in southwest Georgia, a little small rural county, Randolph County, a town called Coleman, Georgia, about 45 miles so to the west of Albany, Georgia.
Did you go to high school down there?
Yes, sir. I went to Randolph Clay High School.
When did you graduate?
1991.
Following high school, what did you do, sir?
Following high school, I attended my local two-year college there, Andrew College. Finished Andrew in 1994. Took some time off to work a little bit. Then I moved on up to Columbus, Georgia, to finish my degree in business at Columbus State University.
And did you finish that degree?
I did, sir.
When was that?
1998.
And after being there at Columbus, did you stay down there and work in Columbus area for a period of time?
I did. After college, I ended up getting a job with Enterprise Rental Car. I met my future wife there, and we, around 2004 or so, that's when we moved up here to Athens. She's originally from here.
And why did you move up here?
Shortly after we had our twins, my wife became ill. We wanted to be near family, and made the decision to come here instead of going back to southwest Georgia.
And do you know Officer Tony Howard?
I do, sir.
Do you know him as a fellow police officer?
Yes, sir.
And how else do you know him?
He is my brother-in-law, sir.
And how are y'all brother-in-laws?
My wife is his wife's younger sister.
Now, let me direct your attention to March the 22nd, 2011. Did you work on that particular day, sir?
I did, sir.
And during that time, you were in the Weed and Seed program with Officer Howard?
Yes, sir, I was.
And at that time, what was his shift generally?
His shift was 8 to 4 at that time,
And what was your shift at that time?
1 to 9.
And when you came in for your 1 to 9 shift, what time did you normally arrive?
Me being the early bird I am, I kind of come in about 12:30, 12:45 that day. And at that time, my former lieutenant had me to visit the briefing of the evening watches. So the first one up was the west side. So I was on my way to the west side.
Where did you actually report to duty, I guess, when you actually came into work?
I reported to the east substation over on Fairview Street.
And did you have an assigned vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And did you drive it to work, or did you pick it up at work?
I drove to work. It was my assigned take-home vehicle.
Okay. And after reporting to work there at that Fairview substation, you proceeded to head out to the West Precinct there at the mall, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury, if you will, what happened, I guess, on the way out there to attend that briefing on the west side for that evening
Sure.
watch shift?
Again, I came in a little early, stopped over at this substation, and began to make my way over to the west side. When I overheard a call on the radio about an injured individual coming out of the trunk of a car. So what I did was I drove toward the west side, keeping an eye out for a suspected vehicle, and once I got over to the west side, I could continue on to the west side, looking for, I think it was a 2000 model DeVille.
Cadillac DeVille?
Yes, sir.
Was that a car that you had some familiarity with based on your work with Enterprise?
Yes, sir. With Enterprise, we carry a lot of GM products, so I was very familiar with the make and model of that car. So again, I was looking for that vehicle. Didn't see it, so I continued on over to the west side via Atlanta Highway. Is when, shortly after that, I overheard dispatch advise Officer Howard about an area on Sycamore Drive where that vehicle would be, or maybe. So I did a U-turn in the parking lot of the Hobby Lobby and went back towards his direction. I had a few minutes to spare before briefing was started. So I headed back towards Sycamore Drive.
And did you actually find yourself or make your way to Sycamore Drive itself?
I did, sir.
Did you turn off the Sycamore off Broad, or did you find some cut through?
No, sir. I went up all the way up Broad, where Broad intersects with the Atlanta Highway. Excuse me, where Sycamore intersects with Atlanta Highway. So I turned on Sycamore. As I was traveling on to Sycamore, I saw a patrol car in front of me. It was a Crown Vic. So anyways, I turned on to Sycamore, turned into Cascade of the river, Cascade on the river, and made my way around the back side of that complex. And that vehicle that I saw a few moments ago, prior to that, came around the other side, and that vehicle was actually Officer Howard.
Okay. As you turned on to Sycamore, you said that you saw a Crown Vic. Was that in front of you, further down Sycamore?
No, sir. I was traveling eastbound on Atlanta Highway.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. And Sycamore kind of cuts off it, and I was looking eastbound, and that Crown Vic was coming westbound.
Okay. And did you see which way that particular Crown Vic police vehicle turned, or where it went?
When I turned on Sycamore, it turned behind me and went around. Again, I went around in the apartment complex, and on the other side was that vehicle came up, and it was Officer Howard.
You didn't realize it when you turned on to Sycamore, or not?
No, sir.
Okay.
To me, with that car coming, it just like any of our other patrol cars.
And as you turned down Sycamore, you said you went into that complex called Cascades by the river.
Yes, sir. Cascade on the river.
Cascades on the river.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go into that first entrance or the second entrance?
There's a U-shaped entrance to that property. I turned the first one. If you're coming off Atlanta Highway onto Sycamore, I took the first one and drove around towards the back.
And as you were doing that, tell us what happened.
Drove around towards the back of the property. again, Officer Howard's car pulls up next to each other. We talked for a few moments, particularly about the car that we all were looking for. He drove away, and I drove away. He drove towards the entrance. I came in, and I went toward the way he came.
What did y'all talk about?
The car, what model it was, and actually Officer Howard did tell me that he was actually en route to the east side to, if I recollect, to meet with some other officers of IDs on, I want to say it was a drug unit at the time. So again, we chatted about that. As I came out of the complex, Officer Howard already had made it onto the street, coming back towards me.
Sycamore?
Yes, sir, made it back on the Sycamore.
Were y'all headed in opposite directions?
At that time, yes, sir, he was coming back and I was going out.
And when you saw him and chatted inside the complex of Cascade,
Mhm.
were y'all headed in that opposite directions then also?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So as you went back on the Sycamore, did you go out that second entrance exit of
Yes, sir.
Cascade?
Yes, sir.
And where was it you saw Officer Howard?
Officer Howard already had made it onto the street, actually coming back toward the entrance that he had came in the first time. I was coming out of it. So there again, we're back in the street, back in onto Sycamore. He's headed one way and I'm headed the other. And we stopped for a moment. He asked me, did I see that Cadillac parked in the parking lot? I'm like, no, I didn't, but I'll go back and see. So it took me a little bit of a distance to get to the other entrance, where Officer Howard was right there at the one I had just came out of. So I turned into that entrance, went around the back, slowly driving to see what car he was talking about. And then as I came around the back end, I looked over and I noticed a white Cadillac, but it wasn't a DeVille. But I'm
Was that in a
still,
parking space?
yes, sir, it was in a parking space. But I'm still looking for whatever Howard saw, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe he saw that one, and that's not the right one. I was saying that to myself, and then I looked a little further, and I could see a red vehicle, red Suburban. I see Officer Howard's car somewhere at an angle behind that vehicle. Then I see an individual walking towards Officer Howard's car. So I'm still at a slow creep, basically. And then I look around a little bit, and then I hear pop.
What'd you
I
hear?
pop. And I'm looking around now, trying to see what was that, because my initial thought was it was firework. So I'm looking around, and I look back towards Officer Howard again, and I can see that same individual I saw walking towards his vehicle, turning, moving away from his vehicle, literally running away from his vehicle. At that point, I was thinking that something's not right. I pulled up a little bit more, stopped, started to exit the car. That's when I'm hearing more pops. So I'm getting out of my car with my duty weapon in hand, making my way around in front of my car, and I'm hearing Central on shot.
You heard what?
Central on shot.
And where did you hear that from?
From my radio. So that noise, the popping I heard was from a distance. So my first thought was maybe.
Just 1 second.
Let me see if I can read it, I don't know. Move that microphone towards you some, then I can back off of it, that's fine.
Okay.
Try that.
All right. So again, those pops I heard was from a distance, but I didn't know if it was in my direction or not. So I'm taking a defensive kind of stance, making my way, and as I'm going around in front of my car, I kind of catch an individual out of the corner of my eye sitting in the driver's seat of the Suburban. I make my way around to the driver's side of the Suburban because now I have a potential threat to me. And the individual exited the vehicle. I didn't do anything. I remember not pointing my weapon directly at him, but I had it up in what we call a high ready kind of stance, and I remember asking him who was that. But I never got a response because I continued moving on. And once I got to the rear of the Suburban, I noticed Officer Howard's door was open. He was face down on the ground.
What'd you do at that time?
I remember trying to radio in that it was, I called him by his badge number. It was 1169. I think I'm going to say, I'm going to say he's been shot. I ran up to him. I could see his face was saturated with blood, and I could see what appeared to be a hole in the back of his shirt. Kind of gathered my thoughts real quick, and again, I was on the radio, and I gave a description of the individual I saw moving away or running away from Officer Howard's car. Slim, white shirt, dark shorts, low haircut, possibly shaved, I wasn't sure. So I'm kneeling near Officer Howard, and I'm holding his hand down, and I'm just telling him to stay with me. And at some point, another officer pulls up, and that was Officer Kitchens. He pulls up. I can tell he's in civilian clothes. It is marked patrol guard. Then I'm still talking to Howard, telling him to stay with me. He's grimacing, he's grunting, he's trying to get up off the ground, and I'm telling him to stay. Don't move. The ambulance is coming. At some point, Lieutenant Morgan, Lieutenant Morgan from the Sheriff's Department, I believe I say his vehicle pulled up, and he goes to secure the subject that was the driver or driving the Suburban.
You later learned who that was?
Yes, sir, I did.
Who was that?
Matthew Hood. So he secures him in the vehicle. I see other officers responding. Sergeant Cowan comes over to my left side, and he asked me, was I okay? I was like, I'm fine. We just need to get Howard some help. And so we start to try to take off his duty belt. He had suspenders attached to his duty belt at the time. So we worked on getting that off. Another officer, Vaughn Anderson, he shows up. So we're working, trying to help Tony. Eventually, paramedics show up. They get him onto a stretcher, get him into the ambulance. Then at that point, I go back to my patrol car, turn around, and come back to the other exit now of the apartment complex.
What was we referred to as the first entrance exit?
Yes, sir. The first entrance, yes, sir. I stop my car, I get out, and I see the ambulance coming up Sycamore. I run to the ambulance on foot just to ask them where they're going. They tell me after it's regional, and I get back in my vehicle. While I go back towards my vehicle, that's when I'm stopped by Lieutenants Coker and Magnuson, who's now Captain Magnuson. They asked me if I see anything. I'm like, I was out there. I just need to get to the hospital. But they let me go. I got back into tried to get back my patrol car, but they didn't let me. So Lieutenant Magnus put me in his car and drove over to East Precinct, and that's when I gave my statement to GBI.
Yes. Just one moment, Jeff. Let me show you, if I may, what's been marked as State's Exhibit and admitted into evidence, State's Exhibit number 10. I don't know whether you need to switch that to this one. Do we need to switch those? There should be a laser pointer up there on the lectern there.
Yes,
See
sir.
that? Yeah. Is it on?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Thank you. You recognize this aerial photograph of the area of West Broad Street and Sycamore Drive coming off of West Broad Street?
Yes, sir.
And you see this first entrance to Cascades and this second entrance to Cascades there, sir?
Yes, sir.
If you will, can you tell us when you came in there and turned down Sycamore, at the time you came in, that Crown Vic that was headed westbound on Broad, where you were headed eastbound before you turned into Sycamore, was it turned out to be behind you or in front of you after you turned onto Sycamore?
Yes, sir. Once I got it right in here, I noticed that Crown Vic coming, that's westbound right there. Just as I turned in here, the Crown Vic came right behind me. We continued on down, and I turned in here.
At that time, you didn't know that was Officer Howard?
No, sir.
Crown Vic?
No, sir, I did not.
And show the jury, if you will, you said you headed in that first entrance. What's the direction of travel that you had?
I turned in here.
And which way were you going around that circle?
I came around this part of the circle right here. And then just about we get right here is where I met up with Officer Howard.
Y'all were going in different directions in that circle?
Yes, sir. If you turn in here, of course, you're going to go around this way, here, around that way. So yeah, we were going in opposite directions.
And that's where y'all spoke briefly?
Yes, sir.
And then following that, you proceeded to do what at that point?
After talking to Officer Howard, I continue to come around this way. He goes around that way. And then once I'm pulling out here, he's already coming down towards me. So the second time we're talking, I mean, it was only like a second or two. It's like right in there. So now I'm going up. When I told him I'll go see again on that car. I drive up here and I come in. By the time I'm coming around here and I'm getting right somewhere down in here, right there in that area would be the Park Suburban, and then SPO Howard's car is right there.
Let me show you first what's already been introduced as State's Exhibit number 148. You recognize that being Officer Howard's car and that being the Suburban?
Yes, sir.
Those appear to be where they were at the time of this incident.
Yes, sir.
Let me show you what's been already been introduced as State's Exhibit number 153. You recognize that as being the Suburban and about where it was or where it was at the time of this incident?
Yes, sir.
And in this photograph here, can you say about where you were when you first saw someone get out of the red Suburban, start walking? Where was your car?
Possibly right here.
And that particular individual was on, for the record, was on what side of the Suburban?
On the passenger side.
And did you see him, the fellow you've described with the white shirt and the dark shorts, you see him actually exit the vehicle, get out of the vehicle? Or was he already out when you noticed him?
When I noticed him, he was already walking out of the vehicle.
In which direction was he walking?
In this direction right here towards SPO Howard's car.
And at that time, you talked about how you looked over at a Cadillac of some sort. Was that, you were doing that at that time after you saw him or before you saw him or both?
After I saw him, again, I glanced, I saw him walking towards the car. I'm still looking, and I noticed that Cadillac. Then again, I realized that wasn't the one that was we were looking for. And again, he was already out of the car and making his way. I didn't see him open the door or anything. He was already walking towards us, SPO Howard's car.
Was your car moving at all at that point, or it stopped at some point after you saw him?
I didn't stop my car till probably after the second series of shots, because I was still creeping really. Then I looked, when I saw him turning, saw the individual turning, that's when I stopped my car. And that's when there was some hesitation there, because I really didn't know what was going on. But when I saw that individual turn, I kind of stopped and like, something's not right.
And your car was positioned on the front side of that Suburban?
Yes, sir.
And at what
Possibly
point,
right over there.
where was it when it actually stopped in relation to that Suburban?
Maybe just on the other side, just over the roof of this car, or the Suburban rather. Maybe just a couple of feet more up. I had enough room between my car and that Suburban. When I got out, I was able to get around my car and get over to the driver's side of the Suburban.
Before you did that, was it before you did that you first heard the pop, or was it after you stopped? At what point did you hear that pop sound?
The second series of pops?
The first sound.
First, I was in my car the first time I heard it. And again, when I heard it again, I looked, and I mean, to me, open air gunfire, I'm not a gun enthusiast, but it sounds like firecrackers to me. That's what that's what my mindset was. So I didn't immediately stop until I got up closer and I saw him running away, and I'm hearing another shot. I'm like, something's not right here. So
Let me ask you, when you were, first saw the person with the white shirt and the dark shorts walking in the direction of Officer Howard's car,
mhm.
did you look away for a moment to look at that Cadillac? And was it while you were
No,
looking?
I looked away to see what that, I looked away to look around just to see where Cadillac was. I looked away to see what that sound was. I didn't stay focused on that individual. I was still looking around, scanning the area.
And were you looking at that individual when you heard the first set of pops or the first pop?
The first pop, no sir, I was still looking around.
When you heard that pop, where did you look and what did you see?
I looked over my shoulder and like, what is that? I'm looking around. I didn't even think about looking towards Officer Howard's car because I'm still looking around the area, trying to see where that sound was.
At some point, did you see that individual at or near Officer Howard's car?
I saw the individual at Officer Howard's car when I looked over again from hearing the pop. I looked over, and that's when I saw him turning away from the car and moving away from the car.
Now, may the witness step down and demonstrate how we saw that individual move away from the car. Just come down, if you will, sir. Of the jury. And when you say he turned away, what side of Officer Howard's car was he on? The driver's side or passenger side?
It was on the driver's side of the vehicle.
Those lights, please.
Thank you, Judge. If this is the driver's side of Officer Howard's car, and I'm the driver, okay? Just right here. Okay, this big X box being Officer Howard's driver's side window. Can you demonstrate what you saw, I guess, from your position in that individual?
From my position, I saw the individual doing this. Just bringing his body around like this.
And which way did he go at that time?
He went.
Take the stand.
He drove up, he went up the side of Officer Howard's car towards Sycamore Drive. And he went westbound further down Sycamore Drive.
And did you lose sight of him at some point?
I did. Once he went up and down the street, I tried to keep visual on him when I'm starting to process what's going on. But once he hit Sycamore and turned and went down Sycamore, I lost sight.
Were you still in your car creeping along until you came to a point of stop?
Yes.
And what's the next thing you remember hearing as you were doing that?
Again, when everything started to process to me, I'm getting out of my car and I'm hearing the other pops. Again, he's out of sight now. I hear the pops in the distance. And that's when I started to make my way around the front of my car to the driver's side of that Suburban. Engaged with the driver again. Didn't recognize him immediately. Asked him who was that. I didn't do anything. He prongs out, get to the rear of the Suburban, and that's when I observed Officer Howard on the ground.
And if you will, after hearing those pops, how long after that did you hear over the radio, Central Alarm shot?
It was just seconds. I'm out of my car. again. I had a call going around, and that's when I hear the central arm shot. I'm making my way around in front of my car now.
At some point, did you become aware that Officer Christian had a vehicle that was coming up and was shot?
I had no idea Officer Christian was down there. We had no idea he was there. I didn't know that there was another patrol car there until SPO Kitchens, when he got there, or Kitchen rather, when he got there, officers were coming to assist, and he looks down the street, and I remember him saying something about there's another patrol car down there. He leaves for a moment and comes back. We're still working with Tony, and I hear him say that that was Buddy's car, and Buddy's in the car. I hear that from Officer Kitchen. I had no idea there was another officer there.
Did it click at that time that he'd been shot, that he had passed? Or did it come to your attention or knowledge later?
I heard that between the time I left the scene, the time I got to my interview with GBI. I heard it then, I heard it again. We had a debriefing with Buddy Shift at East Precinct. I forget the individual's name who did the debriefing. He spoke to us. They said it again, but it wasn't processing to me. That part I wasn't processing. It didn't click till after I got off the phone with Chief Lumpkin. He told me that Tony was fine. And then my lieutenant at the time, Lieutenant Patterson, who's since retired, I asked her, I said, Lieutenant, they keep saying that there was another officer there. They keep saying it was Buddy. Is that true? Is he gone? And she was like, yes, it was him.
You didn't know that until then?
No, sir.
That's all I have of Officer Johnson.
Afternoon, Mr. Johnson.
No, sir.
Mr. Johnson, you stated that Mr. Howard was your brother-in-law, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
That won't call you tell a lie for him, would it?
Your Honor, that's an improper question to ask that.
Sustained.
Would it call you to be dishonest about anything because he's your brother-in-law?
No, sir, I would not.
On March 22nd, 2011, what police station were you working for? East side or west side?
My office that I reported to was on East, at the East substation, but the area of my coverage was both East and West side. We can see areas on East and West side of town.
Were you working day shift or night shift?
That was a evening watch, 1 to 9, sir.
1 to 9.
Yes, sir.
Did your patrol car have standard audio and video camera equipment on it?
No, sir.
Why not?
It did not have it installed in the car at the time I was assigned to the car. Well, the car was assigned to me. Didn't have any kind of video camera equipment on
Do you know the procedure on how to operate audio and video camera on a police car?
it. I do, sir.
Could you tell the jury that, please, sir?
My car now is equipped with what's called an arbitrator, which is all digital. There's no cassette or anything like that on the vehicle. Once my lights or sirens come on, or I can turn on manually, or if I hit a certain speed, it'll come on automatically. record will start 30 seconds prior to it starting. And it uploads to a server at East PD. That's where I have installed in the car now.
So it automatically upload by itself, so you don't have them tapes on the number?
No, sir. My car does not, never had a tape, sir.
Okay, what about, let's talk about March 22nd, 2011. What type of audio and video camera did the standard police car have, sir?
Again, my car didn't have it. Some cars at the time, I believe, had a type of system where a cassette of some type was pulled out of the back, and then took it to a server to download it and then put it back in the car.
Okay, what, did you have standard radio equipment in your car?
I have my portable radio, yes, sir.
So you mean to tell me your patrol car didn't have no radio system in it or nothing?
It has a standard PA, it has the siren, licensed sirens at the time, but it did not have any video recording equipment on it.
Did it have radio traffic, like when you can call central communication,
On my-
you can call another officer? Did
On
you
my
have-
portable radio, yes, sir.
So you had that in your car?
Not in the car, it was portable on my side, on my gun belt.
Okay. So I thought personally that all cars have radios on them.
No, sir.
I mean, tell us about that. Do any car have any radio equipment in them, a certain one?
I've seen sheriff deputies' cars with the radio system in it like that, where they get on the walkie-talkie. But all of our cars with Essex County Police Department, you don't have a radio in the car that calls in the central. All of them is portable.
Are you certain about that, sir?
To my knowledge, yes, sir.
But are you certain about all the cars?
No, no, he answered the question.
Oh, it's the same.
Okay. What work zone were you assigned to on March 22nd, 2011?
Signed to the east and west side of town, again around the waiting seat areas. On the east side, that'll be Bonnie Lane, around those areas. And then on the west side, Rock Springs, Broadacres, the time, Paldo, on all of the waiting seat areas.
Okay. Did you and Tony Howard work together with Weed and Seed?
Yes, sir.
So is it fair to say y'all know who the drug dealers are around town?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about these drug dealers. You say you work in Paldo, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
So when you work Paldo, tell us how you come to get to know these drug dealers when you work around town.
Most of the time it was word of mouth from other officers who had way more experience than I did working at the time. Because at the time I was only with the department 4 years. Tony would tell me at times about some guys around the area. I had encountered a few personally myself. Just from common knowledge of working with other officers that were more experienced.
So Tony would tell you about certain drug dealers that he know about.
If he knew an individual sold drugs, yes, he would tell me.
Okay, isn't it true, y'all have, there's a term called snitching, you have people come give you, hey, they over there selling drugs, you might have an old lady in the house, a guy in the house, a regular citizen in the house, don't want nobody selling drugs around there, call the police, they'll tell y'all, is that correct?
Whatever.
I would object, that's irrelevant to the events of March 22nd, 2011.
He stated he worked with Weed and Seed, and I'm asking him about things going on in Weed and Seed. This was part of his job duty on March 22nd, 2011,
I
y'all.
won't rule the objection, but I'm gonna ask you, there was about 3 questions.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Okay, thank you. Now again, you have people give you information on drug dealers, that'll help you go find the drug dealer equipment when you agree with that, sir.
Yes, when there's a citizen that's concerned about the drugs or anything like that that are sold in their community, yes, they'll call into the police department. If they knew Officer Howard and I on a cordial basis, they'll inquire, tell us, because they were, some people just tired of that activity in their neighborhoods, and they wanted the police to do something about it.
Okay, when a person tell you that a person selling drugs, what do you want Tony Howard to do about that?
Well, first of all, we would make sure that that is a valid complaint.
Okay.
By seeing that individual knew that person by name, whether it's a nickname or something like that, and then we would, I know what I would do, we would just go down to, talk to the drug unit, see if they had any idea who this individual was or individuals were, and work it that way. We wanted to make sure that the complaint was valid first before we just acted on it.
Would y'all, if you hear some information on the drug dealer, would you allow them to just continue selling drugs without you trying to lock them up?
No, we wouldn't do it when we could legally to get the individual off the street.
Thank you. Now, you also stated that Tony worked with you, and some people, they'll come tell you and Tony Howard about these drug dealers out here, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's back to March 22nd, 2011. You said you heard about a carjacking suspect on the east side. Could you tell us what you heard about that, sir?
It was radio traffic. The radio traffic I remember was an individual getting out of the trunk of a car on, I want to say it was Lexington Road.
Okay, did dispatch advise all units that 4 males wearing ski masks carjacked John Brook at the red light right beside Pitcher Top? Did you hear that over the radio traffic?
I don't remember that specifically. I just remember the individual getting out of the car.
No.
I heard the traffic. I was in transit to my car and heard the traffic, heard the description of the car. I don't remember about the 4 subjects with ski masks. I don't remember that.
Okay. Do you remember dispatch, anybody saying about the suspect Jamie Hood involved in that?
Yes, I do remember that name. Yes.
Tell us what you remember about that name on March 22nd, 2011, please, sir.
What I remember about that name was the apartment complex, Cascade on the River. That was a possible location of where that suspect was staying.
Okay. Dispatch also advised all units that were looking for suspect Jamie Hood to use caution because victim advised that they were armed with at least one sawed-off shotgun and self-handgun. Is that correct? Your Honor.
He'd already asked the question that he didn't recall hearing that on dispatch.
Your Honor, I respectfully say that I haven't even answered that question yet. Thank you, sir. Now again, dispatch advised all units, east side and west side, all units that were looking for this carjacked suspect, Jamie Hood, to use caution because the victim advised they were armed at least one sawed-off shotgun and several handguns. Isn't that correct?
To be honest with you, sir, I do not remember the details of that 911 dispatch. I do remember that officer were to use caution. As far as the weapon type, I don't remember that. I don't remember the weapon type.
But you heard
I do remember using the caution. I do remember officers that the subject was to live around Cascade on the river. I heard that portion of the call, but as far as weapon type, I honestly don't recall weapon types.
Well, sir, could you tell us how did you hear this part, but you neglected to hear the part about the sawed-off shotgun and self-handgun?
I didn't neglect that. I just don't remember hearing that.
Was you busy? Was you talking to somebody that would make you get that first part? How did you get that first part of that call?
I was just in transit to the west side for briefing, preparing myself for that briefing. I did not hear that part of the call. Not saying it didn't come over the radio, I just don't remember, I don't recall that portion of the call.
Okay. What are the procedures if an officer dispatch tell an officer to use caution that the suspect might be on with a gun, a knife? What are the procedures y'all supposed to take when dispatch tell y'all that?
Just as the dispatchers tell us to, just use caution. If we engage with that individual, just use caution, be aware that there may be a weapon involved.
Okay. Could you explain to the jury how would you go about using caution if you interact with a suspect that they didn't told you to use caution on?
First of all, I would not approach that individual by myself. I would make sure I have officers around if needed for backup, just in case an individual did have a weapon. But the call coming into Central Communications, if that information is given to Central Communications, that's just extra information for us. And we act accordingly.
So you want to approach that suspect by yourself, that you telling the jury?
No, sir. I would not. I would develop some type of strategy. If I knew that individual was there at a particular place, I would develop some type of strategy.
If you make contact with a suspect that told you caution on, would you grab the radio and call Central Communication and call your fellow officer, let them know that you had made contact with this suspect?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would let the officer know I have eye contact or direct contact, whatever contact it may be. I would let them know that individual. I would describe that individual, and I would let them know whether or not I see a weapon.
Okay. Ma'am, no. What went through your mind when you heard dispatch told y'all to use caution? When they told the officer to use caution, what went through your mind?
Just simply that. Just to use caution, just be prepared, be vigilant, watch hands. Basically, just observe the individual. If there's contact with them as best I could until backup arrived.
Okay. When you arrived on Sycamore Drive to look for me, did you see any other police officer cars in the area?
No, sir. When I initially turned on Sycamore Drive, I did not see any other police cars. I saw a patrol car coming towards me, as I mentioned earlier. Turned on Sycamore Drive. That patrol car followed me, turned into the Cascade on the river. That patrol car came around the other side, and that's when I realized it was Officer Howard and his patrol car. I saw no other patrol cars on Sycamore Drive when I got there.
Let's talk about when you first entered Sycamore Drive. Did Mr. Howard come from, what direction did he come from to get behind you?
He was westbound. I'm going back eastbound at the traffic light. Sycamore Drive cuts at an angle. I turned on the Sycamore Drive. He came right behind me.
Okay, was he coming from the mall direction, or was he coming from the Army
No,
Gym direction?
No, sir. Army Gym, east side. He was coming eastbound.
He coming. How many times you been talked outside before you arrived to court?
Several times. I mean, we're family. We talk all the time.
Did y'all talk about March 22nd, 2011 before you come to the courtroom?
No, sir. No, sir. Not details. We, as a family, dealing with what was going on, we don't discuss that much.
So
He and I don't discuss that much.
y'all never did talk about March 22nd, 2011?
Well, we talked about it, but as far as details about it, we just deal with what we're dealing with.
Tell the jury what y'all talked about when y'all talked about it.
How are you dealing with it? Are you okay? Do you think about it much? Just stay strong, stay prayed up. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. Just family talking.
All right. So you stated you didn't see no police officers?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you see Officer Christian parked on Sycamore Drive when you say you went down there and you did that turn? Did you see Mr. Christian sitting right there on Sycamore Drive anyway?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. We'll stop. Take a recess.